That was a good old-fashioned butt whipping on a Friday night. It was competitive for about a half. And then the Sacramento Kings reminded us all who they are. Steph Curry, a magnificent evening. Folks, it's Friday night. And it's the first Friday after the holiday season. The first week after the holiday season is usually the most brutal. So congratulations on making it. In just a moment, UC Berkeley professor Spreewell was right host Armando Lara is going to join us. And because the Warriors played the Kings, it's also going to be an I80 Crossover edition. 3 shows in one. Mark will join us from Chase Center. He is there tonight. But your Golden State Warriors took care of business, as they should. We got some real games coming up, but enjoy the blowouts. They're few and far in between. So when they happen, awesome. And let's talk about it. Let's do it. We're powered by FanDuel. This is the Golden Day. Let's go. Welcome to the program. My name is Cyrus Saatsaz, your host for the evening. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DogWild. Over on Twitter, my handle is at Surf Journalist. The program on both platforms at Golden Days Pod. Tonight's episode brought to you by FanDuel, our title sponsor of the program and of the Believe Network. Curious to see if there is a line already for Sundays. Who do the Warriors play Sunday? Is it the Hawks? Yes, it is the Atlanta Hawks. That should be an interesting one. The Atlanta Hawks are long, they're lean, they're streaky. If you get the version of them that can actually play good basketball, in other words, it depends on which version of the Hawks will show up. If the good version shows up, it should be a dandy at Chase Center Sunday. If the version that looks like the Kings sometimes shows up, might be another blowout. We shall see. Stay tuned for that. And there is, the professor is here. Let me just read off I'll bring him on right now. No. I'll give him a second. He's not set up quite yet. But Armando Lara will join us. And again, Mark Haynes will join us from Chase Center as well. Sunday, for those of you that have been asking about Ryan Leong, he's going to join me from Chase Center Sunday following Warriors Hawks. But again, FanDuel, I don't see a line for Warriors Hawks Sunday. Otherwise, I'd read that off to you. But as of now, no, it's too far off that game Sunday. What I do want to visit real quickly, I know we're a hoops show, but the NFL playoffs are here this weekend. And here are the odds that FanDuel is giving you if you want to bet on football action. The Rams are 10.5-point favorites over the Panthers. The Rams lost to the Panthers earlier this season. There is a chance of rain, which the Rams don't like. So that's a huge spread for a game that might present an upset. Maybe not. It's gambling. The Packers, 1.5-point favorites over the Chicago Bears in Chicago. There's those two storied franchises. They've been around since the dawn of the NFL, and this is only the third time in NFL history that they're playing each other in the postseason. It's kind of wild. The Bills, 1.5-point favorites over the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Your San Francisco 49ers, 5.5-point underdogs in Philly. The LA Chargers, 3.5-point underdogs at New England. And the Houston Texans, 3-point favorites at Pittsburgh. You can get all that action and more with FanDuel. I saw the professor joining me in just a second, but maybe he's having some issues setting up. He will join us very soon. I want to start the show off by giving Steph Curry some love, even though he's not the guy that excites me the most, or at least did not excite me tonight the most. I'll explain in just a second who did. But Steph easily deserves player of the game honors because the Kings had no answers for him. All Steph needs is a smidge, like millimeters of space, and he'll get that shot off. And when the shot looks good, like it did tonight, you're effed. You're screwed. There's virtually nothing you can do to stop the man. One of the only players in the NBA who can stop him is his brother, Seth, who's on the team, who's also experiencing old man injuries, more specifically, a sciatic nerve injury, which has been keeping him out for, I feel like, almost the entire time he's been a member of the Warriors. But I digress. Steph was fantastic. He is our FanDuel player of the game tonight. Played 31 minutes, 54 seconds. It was creeping towards dangerous territory with the minutes before this game turned into a blowout. But despite the blowout, or because of the blowout, the minutes kept to just shy of 32. Still a lot of minutes for a game where the Warriors won by a final score of 137-103, a 34-point blowout, and you played Steph 31 minutes, 54 seconds. I don't understand that. He's still our player of the game. 27 points, 10 assists, had 0 rebounds, interestingly enough. That's a massive rarity for Steph, who seems to always be at the right place at the right time. And I see him at the podium right now. We'll play some sound from this game tonight as well. But Steph shot 50% from deep. And for a high-volume three-point shooter like Steph, that is damn impressive. 6 of 12 from deep, 10 of 21 from the field. Had just 1 free throw attempt on a +1, I believe, in the first quarter, I think. And added a steal at talk about a bizarre stat line. 0 rebounds for Steph, but 2 blocks. Steph had 2 blocks in this game. Also had a steal, and to finish with 27 points, 10 assists, 50% shooting from deep, 2 blocks for Wardell, who's still going strong. There is the professor. He is set up now. You can follow Armando Lara. Let me get the setup here. And Armando, hope you don't mind. Might have another threesome tonight, depending on when Mark Haynes joins us from Chase Center. The last time I communicated with him, he told me that he was coming into town. He covers the Sacramento Kings for Believe. He hosts Believe in Kings. He also writes for the Sacramento Observer, a fantastic publication. But for now, we've got one of the brightest minds on the planet, Armando Lara. You can follow him on threads at Mando_man10. Armando, you have a Substack. Before we talk Warriors here, you have a Substack where you publish content pertaining to your day job, which is being a tenured a professor at UC Berkeley. How long did it take you to write what looked like a damn dissertation? And it showed up in my email at like 5 a.m. I'm like, what is this thing from Armando? I forgot I'd subscribed to your Substack, your personal one, which you've been publishing for a while. And I read this thing that looks like a book. It was insane to see it. And how long does it take you to write these massive articles that cover global finance and economics? I know you said that's what you teach, but when I read that, I was like, holy shit, he was not lying, man. Good to see you, brother. How you doing?
No, I appreciate you, Sai, for the shout out, man. I know you sent me those texts. I was going to reply to you. That took me 2 weeks. I'm writing a book about, 2 months. I'm writing a book about the coming financial disaster in 2026. And in the spring, I teach economy and society at Berkeley. So that's like, there's a part of sociology that's in economics. So it's less well known, but that's what I do. Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like you're a specialist in one of the more valuable aspects of sociology. I feel like if you're teaching Marxism primarily, or Marxist teachings, I could see that being a little more polarizing. I could see that also if you're a professor and that's your primary subject. I can understand if people get riled up at you every once in a while. It is controversial. I'm not saying that, but a lot of people out there would say that. But you teach something that covers vital importance. Something tells me, I'm sorry for the fans, Warriors fans who tune in to hear us talk Warriors. I apologize for this digression here for a second, but something tells me when Venezuela had their leader literally removed, like you had a lot of information pertaining to that in terms of the why and the economics and the benefits of the U.S. taking over their oil infrastructure. Were you riveted? Like, was that just mind-blowing shit to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to disassociate yourself. I mean, it's war, right? It's we are a country at war, and don't let it get it twisted. It is funny being on this podcast every Friday night and trying to read through the lines of what's being told by the media, and then also doing that in my daily job. Like, it's not very dissimilar, which I find very funny, I wrote that. It took me 2 months. I got to do it quicker, but it's all good. It's a part of the process.
Yeah. Well, just like the U.S. beat the shit out of Venezuela, the Golden State Warriors beat the shit out of the Sacramento Kings, 137-103 the final. This one was, it was riveting until about a third of the way through the third quarter. And then, or maybe like 2/3 of the way. And then I feel like Stephen Curry came out of the game with about 3 minutes and change whenever he was subbed out. I could look up that exact minute total in just a second here, but it was over. Like, the reserves came in. Your favorite player, Big Al Horford, was lighting it up again. Let's start there, Armando. What is your takeaway from Al Horford? Had 9 points, 5 boards tonight in just 16 minutes, 22 seconds. He had another positive outing the previous game where he had a much more production display. But again, you're going to see some people say, I'm excited. Big Al stepping up. He looks healthy out there. Others may or may not say, the skeptics may say, it's the Kings. Yeah, I already forgot who the Warriors played last game, because this is the part of the schedule where it's just absolute cruise. Who did the Warriors play last game? I generally have forgotten already. I can answer that. Can you remember?
Not an incidental.
Milwaukee. So he looked good in the Milwaukee game. And it's anyways. What are your thoughts on Big Al, brother? And good to see you.
Yeah, stellar performance. He had a little pep in his step. I saw that in the Milwaukee game. That was, you could tell from the dip and drive, that was the strongest his leg on the 3-pointers. Excuse me, that was the strongest he's looked all year. And I think they said as much afterwards. I noticed in the Milwaukee game, boxing out wasn't really an issue because of the way that Steve Kerr was playing him. Mm-hmm. They played very big in that game. So they played double big. So he was actually playing the power forward and Jimmy was at small forward. And they had Melton at shooting guard. And they had I don't know if it was Pods or Buddy. I can't remember. But it was a very big lineup, and I really enjoyed seeing that. And that actually carried them in that second quarter in Milwaukee, and third, like playing the right way, playing big, playing wings. And it was good to see. I like to see Al supported by the proper support that he needs. It's like a cane. It's like hiring a guy that you expect to push the wheelchair, but it turns out he shows up and he needs a cane, and so it's cool. I like it. It'll be good. We should talk more generally about this nice little run. They're 8-11, 8 out of the last 11.
Correct.
Yeah. It's good.
Well, one thing I want to do with you, and I'm sorry for not texting this beforehand, but I feel like when it comes to the schedule, you're always prepared. At a certain point tonight, what I want to do is look at the remaining schedule. The Warriors, after this win, improved to 21-18. As the professor just mentioned, they've won 8 of their last 11. So 21 of 8. So they're 2 games away from the midway point. And what I want to do is look at the remainder of the schedule and just do and prognosticate with an optimistic outlook, meaning for all the games coming up that may be wishy-washy, if that's a term. Like, for example, the Atlanta Hawks, who play Sunday. We'll be positive and give them a W in a game like that, right? So I just want to see what this Warriors record could look like if we take a positive outlook and put a W besides all the games that they could win. I don't know what we would give next week. Like, next week, the schedule becomes a little interesting because next Tuesday, the Warriors host the Portland Trailblazers. Next Thursday, they host the New York Knicks. Like, those are 2 games that could be competitive. I don't know if the Saturday home game against Charlotte will be. I mean, it's another one of those situations where it depends on which team shows up, because Charlotte did go to OKC and beat beat them. Like, it was a blowout victory. But then again, the Charlotte Hornets are like a AAU team, man. They play undisciplined basketball. They have one of the worst records in the NBA. So who knows which version of that shows up. But like Portland, New York, I don't know if they should be getting W's next to those. And then they wrap up this homestand, this eight-game homestand with games against the Miami Heat and the Toronto Raptors. But that's one exercise I want to do with you, if you don't mind, in a little bit. But I want to, I gave Armando the player of the game honors to Stephen Curry for obvious reasons. Dude was just on fire tonight. I'm a little befuddled at the minutes. I feel like on a blowout like this, these are the type of games you want to keep his minutes really low. And for him to still play nearly 32 minutes is again, it's befuddling. It's weird. It's baffling. Like, for example, I don't have an answer to this question. Armando, do you? Why did Stephen Curry play 6 minutes and 20 seconds of fourth quarter basketball?
I think they're scared shitless of losing games. I mean, when you play 3-4 guards, what's happened in the last couple weeks is they're playing lottery teams and bottom feeder teams, and they actually went from 4 to 3 guards, and so that's actually an improvement for
hell
for
yeah.
as much as he could.
Crazy as that sounds, yeah.
Crazy as that sounds, and I think they're scared shitless because they know they can give a 20-point lead instantly with the 3 guards they play. So, they got to put them in for a little bit. They got to put them in.
Jimmy Butler. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I mean, Sacramento is literally one of the worst teams I've ever seen. I was totally wrong about that in the summer. I actually predicted they would do well this year. Totally wrong.
So did Mark, who's going to join us in a little bit. Yeah, some people were optimistic about them.
Yeah, I was totally wrong about that, so that's my bad. And I like what Scott Perry is talking about over there, a true rebuild. They know that this is the draft to get into, that if you don't get a top 4 pick in this draft, all these teams are going to pass you by the next year. And I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the trade that is boiling right now between the Warriors and Utah, and the fact that Utah is going to be better than the Warriors next year. And, there's a lot going on right now, chat. And I really think the next week is the most critical turning point in franchise history since the decision to either trade Clay for Kevin Love or not. It's the most critical moment, and it needs to look a certain way. It can't just be wins. The Warriors. It's been leaked to the media that they hope to go 6-1 over this homestand or whatever. It actually is more. It's meaningful how it goes down, and I want to talk about that. The way they win these games is really important to whether the Warriors are going to make this Jazz trade or not, and we should talk about that.
When you say Jazz trade, so you think that Lauri Markkanen's the target?
Yes, and I think me and my cousins looked at every single trade scenario across the league and how those teams are playing in their contract situations. And the only trade that actually makes sense is the Markkanen trade.
That's what I've been saying too.
Yeah, and for both sides, and it is about whether the Warriors are going to put in 2 or 3 first-round draft picks. It's not even about.
That's what I've been saying too. And I'm pleading that if it's 3, at least try and convince Danny Ainge to make that third one a swap. So you keep that asset, even if it's the worst of the 2. At least you keep it. Like you have that as an asset to either trade in the future or convert into a draft pick, and you have another player. But look, let's hope that's the case. To me, Lauri Markkanen, that's I was compiling some news sound bites. I'm just going to email myself because I kept telling myself, what is the one sound bite that during shows I keep telling myself I need, and the moment the show ends, I forget what that is. I'm just going to email myself now before I forget again. Mike Lowry. I'm just going to email myself bad boys. Anyways, that's to me is easily the best case scenario because you're getting an asset that is not only good now, but he's not old. Like you can kind of see him being a part of this 4 or 5 years from now. And it's not going to be something where, worst case scenario, you send Kuminga and Pods and Moody. Like, let's say worst case scenario, like Kuminga turns into like a star type player. At least you have a star type player too in Lauri Markkanen. And is that fair? Do you agree with that sentiment?
No, I think it's the worst possible move they could possibly make. I wouldn't
So
make
of
it.
all the Lowry, Mike, you mean Larry Markkinen, Johnny Kuminga going for Larry Markkinen? I can't get over how funny that is. And maybe it's just me laughing, but why do you think that would be an awful trade? Is it Lowry himself? What's your reasoning?
No, because the Warriors ain't winning shit with the coach, and it's gonna be they're gonna have to sell assets in the summer, and then they're gonna owe 3 of the best picks in the league to a team that is gonna be better than them next year. So that's why I think it's terrible. That you got to get in the lottery this year. That is the move, and it's obvious. And I honestly, Cy, this is what I wanted to talk about today because it's been leaked in the media. If you watched on ESPN, Slater, what's going on? Yeah, is it okay for me to talk about this now, or should we wait?
Yeah, why not? I mean, what is there to talk about with this game? This is one of those games where what analysis are we going to provide? Oh, look, Pat Spencer played 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Discuss.
Oh yeah, Pat Spencer and no. Melton and Horford are going to play 40 minutes a night in the Western Conference playoffs, and we're going to go to the title.
Can I say this real quick? I mean, that is funny, but all kidding aside, though, I want to really quickly, before we move on from the game, give some love to DeAnthony Melton, who continues his resurgence, and the shots are starting to fall. That is so important for this team. And Armando, I know you jest talking about Melton and what impact it may have in the postseason for the Warriors, but he's 27 years old. And this could be a player who's part of the long-term plan with the team. I love Melton. I really do, man. I think he was a solid pickup, one of the positives of Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s tenure as GM. And Melton tonight only played 18 minutes, 42 seconds. And in that brief amount of time, 6 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from deep. Another outstanding shooting night. 50% from deep, just like Steph. Also had some trips to the free throw line, a perfect 4 of 4 there. 19 points, man, in 18 minutes, 42 seconds. That's awesome. I'm elated that this guy's a part of the squad. To me, the best offseason move this team made was getting DeAnthony Melton. Do you not feel as positive about Melton as I do?
I don't, but I understand why Warriors fans are into it, and it gives a lot of hope. And aside, to be honest, we were talking about it when we were watching it. It's because our comparison when we're watching him, guys, is Podziemski. And like in your back of your mind, you're like, we've been playing 4-on-5 for 3 years with Brandon Podziemski on the court getting 35 minutes a game. And it's kind of like the way Brandon Podziemski looked good when he would play for Klay Thompson, who was not an NBA player 3 years ago. And so it like, oh, Brandon Podziemski is really good. No. And it's a little bit of the same thing. Like, oh, this is an actual NBA athlete playing on our team, and we like it. But the thing is, we watch the rest of the league, and we see the level of player and athlete that are on the actual playoff teams. And when you're going to potentially play Melton at small forward, it doesn't bode well. And he looks really good. And I liked what I saw today in those 20 minutes against the Sacramento Kings. So it does look good, and it's a lot better than Brandon. So I just think, I guess I see what you're saying, but I just want to keep it in context. The context of the sick, sad world that is the Golden State Warriors coaching situation. So yeah. That's what I think. You're muted, Si.
I'm muted. Sorry. No, I love that. And when you're talking about that context, the perspective that you need, there's that Fairley Brothers movie. What was it called? It was the one that had Owen Wilson and the guy who stars in Ted Lasso. What was that movie? It was a Hall Pass. Have you ever seen that movie?
I think I have. It's been a while though.
It's hilarious. Yeah. And when you talk about perspective and seeing things in a different light, just depending on what's around you, there's this one scene where again, Owen, again, let me, what is the guy's name? The guy who stars in Hall Pass. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
I don't know.
Do you know his name?
I don't remember.
It's Jason Sudeikis. So Jason Sudeikis and Owen Wilson star in this film, and there's one scene where they're in a club, and their buddy, who's played by the actor Richard Jenkins, is trying to tell them, they're like looking at a few women in a club, and they're like, and I think Jason Sudeikis' character is like, dude, she's hot, man. And then Richard Jenkins, who also plays the dad in Step Brothers, right? In case you're trying to put a face to that name, he goes, "No, man," and I forgot what he called her, but he held his hand up and he blocked out the people around this one person. And when he blocked them out, she did not look attractive. But then when he took his hands away and she was surrounded by her friends, and her friends were far more, sorry to say this, but uglier than her, suddenly she looked really attractive, right? And he was trying to teach them, as like two longtime married dudes who had forgotten what it's like to be single, that when you're looking at one woman who's in a group of many, and this can be reversed, where one woman's looking at a group of men, and then you single out the one person and you block everyone else out. That's when you can get the genuine perspective. And the moment you take your hands away, and you're seeing who they're surrounded with, now you're comparing them to everyone else, right? Now the perspective is skewed. And again, if you goggles, thank you. Armando, your own cousin, is on top of this. Thank you. It's the goggles, yes. And the goggles in this case is what I think what you're trying to say here is that the DeAnthony Melton goggles provide you with a different view, because when Brandon Pajemski's standing next to him, he looks sexy. But if Pajemski's not there, who the hell knows? I get what you're saying. It's just from Melton. I remember his days in Memphis. I was impressed even back then. He had the 1 year in Philly, which was a little disappointing, but it wasn't a bad year either. It's just I just don't think it was a good fit. He wasn't getting a lot of minutes, and it didn't work out. But I've seen enough there to have faith in this guy.
Can I say one more thing about this side? Can I say one more thing? The jury's still out. Kerr is already, he talks about Melton like he's a made man. If you actually listen to his comments, it's like, this guy is like a veteran. He's a playoff performer, and he's really comes through in big minutes, and he's one of the made guys. Actually, we don't know. I'm not saying he's not that guy, but is he gonna, as he has not yet shown that he is a 35-minute-a-night guy in
Melton?
The depths of the Western Conference playoffs. He might rise to the occasion. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying don't believe the hype that Kerr is selling you. They're selling you hope. Today Kerr went on 95.7 and said, this was the first game, the Milwaukee game, that we've had Melton and Horford all year. And that's really what we envisioned in the summer. They were the guys that were going to unlock us. They were the guys that were going to take them into the championship. Of course, this is right after Steve Kerr told you all not to be delusional about their chances. And, he's selling you that. He's trying to buy some time here. And I seen Al Horford play in the playoffs last year. Not going to be able to do it. And we don't know about Melton. The jury's still out. I remember when Steve Kerr was praising Dante DiVincenzo as a made man, and how in the same way he's doing Melton now. And then he didn't even play DiVincenzo against the Kings in round one because he couldn't be on the court in the Western Conference playoffs. And he's not good enough to play there. And he hasn't been on Minnesota. So, jury's still outside. That's all I'm going to say about that.
That's fair. That is absolutely fair. And we've never seen Melton with a bigger role, with the heavier minutes. I don't recall what his minute total was in those 6 games he played at the start of last year, but that also looked good. I've seen so many examples of Melton where he's just looked like the real deal. And then you factor in, and this is different for everyone, the number of years of observation and experience yourself watching. I like this guy. Is what I'm trying to say.
Eye test. He passes the eye test. I agree.
He passes the eye test. And by the way, I can't resist. Tio Irvin in the chat adding, for his money, he's on a veteran minimum deal. He's out playing the contract. So far, so good. Exactly. Who knows what he's going to get? what he's going to ask for next year. And by the way, your cousin again, who pointed out the goggles, just for the folks out there who have never seen the movie Hall Pass, I have to show this clip. And if you're watching the recording of this and you end up not seeing it, it's because YouTube maybe cut it out because of copyright. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I'll keep this very short. This is the scene I'm talking about from the movie Hall Pass.
Surrounded by stewed fish. Stewed fish? Yeah. When an 8 surrounds herself with less attractive women, make her look like a 10, man.
What are you talking about? She is a 10.
You make me laugh, Freddie. Come on, try this. All right.
What is?
I'll block everything out. Tell me what you see.
Why?
Well, okay, now watch this, man. Hot?
Right.
Nah.
Oh my God.
Hot?
So those are the goggles. And what you're saying, Armando, is that when we do this and we only look at Melton, it looks really good. And then the moment you zoom out and Podziemski's standing right next to him, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's the other way around. When he's by himself, you're like, eh. But then when you pull this aside and you see him surrounded by, let's say, Podziemski and GP2, it's like, oh, it's good. I like it.
You know, Cy, they're playing. Steve Kerr's playing for the A seed. You know, that's the plan. And
Yeah,
500
it is.
ball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And yeah, sure, he gives them a better shot for that. You know, so I'm all for it. You know, if they just keep playing, Paz is benched. Cy.
Well, and not just that, his minutes are now instead of the 28, 29, 30 that we have been seeing consistently, it's now in like the 22, 23 range.
Yeah.
Tonight he got 22 minutes, 27 seconds. More of that, please. Kerr's like, with the exception of Kuminga, and who knows what the hell is going to happen there. We're going to talk about that. He's coming around, which is kind of crazy. He also,
Cy, the Terry Stotts playing Guy Santos in the fourth quarter when Kerr had him benched in cryogenesis, Han Solo stasis for weeks. And now Guy Santos is suddenly playing again. And he had Guy Santos at the small forward. That means they went from 3 to 2 guards. And they did well against that team. It strikes me that Kerr's done this before in the past. He did this when he was up for a contract extension in Kuminga's second year. He was playing Kuminga and Wiggins and Draymond together, playing the right way when it counts. He's always done that. I don't know what his deal is. Like, he played in the playoff games, the playing games against the Kings, Memphis, where he actually played wings without developing it all year long. That's a little bit of what's going on right now. So I do wonder if he's going to kind of play more the right way over the next week to the 15th. You know, they need to be really weary of this. The front office, I mean, it's not, the Warriors organization is not unified, and they're asking,
no, not at all.
They're asking Steph Curry and Stephen Kerr to prove to them that
Armando, why did you call him Steven? Did you do that intentionally? I'm sorry. I've never heard anyone call him Stephen Kerr. The Johnny Kuminga, Larry Markkinen, that's funny enough. Stephen Kerr. Did you do that on purpose, or did that just slip out?
Hey, man. The subconscious always drives us in ways we don't understand. So,
Stephen.
Let's roll with it.
Stephen Kerr.
Besides, Slater leaked what's going on. And
Which
that
story?
is that this was on an ESPN podcast with stupid Tim Bontemps. And he said what's going on is that the front office doesn't want to make a move because they don't believe in the system and what's going on. They don't believe this is a team that can win anything. So why would we give up any future picks for this? And it was leaked. You reported it a month ago or you were talking about the way Steph Curry is planning a meeting with Lacob about trading for future first round picks, like about right now. So it tells me, and Slater said that, hey, Kerr, Stephen Kerr and Steph Curry need to show the front office that this is a team worth investing in, that they can actually beat teams that are competitive, that they're not just going to beat up on bottom feeder teams, that it's not just sitting guys against the Thunder and trying to make it through 500 ball. Why would you trade 3 first-round draft picks for a team that is the 8th seed? And you wouldn't do that. So literally the next week is so critical for Steph Curry, and Stephen Kerr to prove that they are legitimate contenders, that they're worth investing in. It's their system. They made the bed that they're sleeping in. And they're trying to convince if you notice all the talk, Cy, it's all about how we're getting Draymond reinvested. And, I talked to Draymond about his turnovers, and this is a new league in 2025. Look, I'm coaching. Look at me. I'm coaching, media. And that last week when we were on, you had that journalist. He reported that he knows Draymond, and he could tell from Draymond's comments that Draymond has been checked out all year, because Draymond and Jimmy effing know this team ain't doing shit. They're not doing shit. And Jimmy's making $53 million. He don't give a F, man. Jimmy's chilling. Draymond is checked the F out. And so all the talk this week is like, oh, we're trending upwards. Draymond's getting reinvested. They're trying to get the irrational confidence back that anything could happen. That's just what you need as a player. Like, you have to believe that you can, slay the dragon, even though you can't even pull the sword out of the cupboard. And
you'll never catch the dragon, bro. You'll never catch the dragon.
Yeah. And so now it's like, oh, we got to get Draymond on board to prove to the front office that it's worth trading 3 future first-round picks for a player. They need another guy, chat. They think they need another guy. Think about that. They got 2 $50, $60 million players, Hall of Famers, and they need another guy. Just think about that for 5 seconds, what that's saying about this situation.
Yeah. Mark Haynes is going to join us in a little bit. He just texted me. He's at Chase Center. I'm guessing he's doing some post-game interviews right now. But Armando, I don't think it was the show I did with you when I espoused it.
Who cares about picks? Put up Kinetic 754. Who cares about picks? Trade them. Oh, hell no.
No, hell no. That's ridiculous. You do that when you're in championship mode. You don't do that when the dynasty's faded and over, and you don't. And here's the thing. My guess is, this is just a guess. My guess is that meeting did take place, and the decision was we're not trading the picks. And the reason why I say that is because Kerr was on his best buddy Tom Tolbert's show, and he said, and when he started talking about how, oh, well, these picks are valuable and we're not going to mortgage the future, that when I heard that to me was Steve Kerr telling the public, Steph and Joe had the meeting, those picks are not being traded. That's what I heard. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm reading between the lines.
I would change. I would slightly say the meeting, to me, the outcome most likely was, let me see what you got in January. And it's not just about going 6-1 in the play in the thing. Chat, you really need to look at the point spread the next week. So they're going to beat Atlanta, and this will be the high point. This will be the high point of the Kerr sycophants. Like, oh man, they're so good. They just beat the Kings and the Hawks. The freaking literally tanking. They're not even NBA teams. And then they're going to play Portland Trailblazers, who beat them twice.
3 times.
Oh, three times handedly. So for them, and Slater insinuated this in his comments, they see that Portland game as a test, because that's been a real team. Portland is a better team than the Golden State Warriors. And then they played the Knicks, who are supposedly a good team, although they're not, if you know how to watch ball. But it's not just beating those teams. And then they have back-to-back against the Heat and another team. But it's not just about winning those teams. They need to win out. Are they going to destroy those teams. That's what they need to show. And if it's clutch game after clutch game, that means you're not trading the picks, chat. That's what I would say. You need to look at the point differential. Is Steph Curry playing in the fourth quarter, having to drop 40 just to beat, just to beat a moderately good team? That's what it is about.
Well, and this stretch right now where they've won 8 of 11, it reminds me a lot of the stretch at the end of last season when they went 23-7 or 23-8, whatever that record was. It's so much of it is about the opposition. You got to pay attention to who they're playing. Again, the Hawks game, I have no clue. We'll talk about that toward the end of the show to preview what's to come, because the Hawks have some damn good basketball players and they're a long, lengthy team. They're kind of like the Raptors in a lot of ways, and where they rely so much on length and athleticism. And those are the teams that give the Warriors problems. We'll see. It could be competitive. It could also, a young team like that can make a ton of mistakes, and it's not going to be up for discussion. But I also forgot to mention at the end, or at any point in the last show, I apologize for this. I kept teasing that I did, in fact, have a brief communication with Bob Myers.
Oh, nice.
Former Warriors GM. And he told me he does not have time right now to come on. But dude, I forgot how genuinely good of a dude he is. And maybe he's just really skilled at buttering people up. Like, all he did was butter me up. He's like, dude, I know how hard you're working on your show. Keep up the great work. Like, the guy, dude, he's a good, I miss him. I miss Bob Myers. Anyways, he's told me he does not have time right now to come on. And I told him I'll reach out again in the summer and we'll see what happens. But I would love to get Bob at some point on this program. He knows how much I respect him and his brain in terms of just, yeah.
You should get him on when they choose to not extend Steve Kerr. That's when you should reach out to Bob Myers.
But so talking about the and by the Hamza Kassem's asking, do I still see a problem with the GP2 minutes? Yeah, and I'm not going to let tonight's game make me feel one way or the other. I don't. Again, it's not personal. It's just he's 6'2", and if it was just him and Steph and like 3 forwards and centers playing with him, I would not mind it so much. But when it's him, Steph, Pajemski, which is almost always the case, and yet you have Steve Kerr preaching about spacing. I don't know where the hell the spacing is when 3/5 of your lineup out there are those three. Steph's the only one of the three that's a legitimate shooter. But I digress, man. I just, if you want to be a serious team, what I'm trying to say is, I don't see how GP2 getting a considerable minutes leads to that. And it's not personal. I know people love this guy. Forgive me. It's not a personal attack on a fan favorite. He's 6'2", and to me, size matters in basketball. But speaking of size, a few things have come to light in regards to this trade deadline approaching, in regards to Kuminga and his future with the team. I've been thinking for a few weeks, for maybe a month now, that on paper, the trade that may make the most sense, and it's not a trade I personally am advocating for, like Anthony Davis, I have zero emotional investment in him. I have zero desire to have him on the team. He does not move my needle one bit. It's not, Anthony Davis is an aging former star player. Like that's how I see him. I'm not advocating for this. I just thought on paper, maybe this is what the Warriors were thinking, because if you trade Jimmy for AD straight up, in a lot of ways, it's like a 2-for-1 trade, because now the positional logjam that prevents Kuminga from playing is lifted. And so in essence, you're trading Butler for AD and Kuminga, right? And if you can follow the logic, thank you. If you can't, forgive me. But then AD injures his hand. Mr. Glass strikes again. And so that idea is done. That is, because it looks like AD's going to miss the rest of the year, or he's going to miss months. I no longer see that trade happening after that. To me, that was the death knell. Because if you're going to make that trade, you want a player who's going to actually show up for you. Jimmy Butler is at least there night after night. He is durable as F-bomb for this Warriors team. So that trade idea to me is extinct. But from there, you have the report from Chris Haynes. His brother Mark will join us in just a few moments. He reported this today. I don't know, Armando, if you heard this or saw this. Chris Haynes is reporting, and Chris is very connected, very reputable, credible. I do trust what he says. Something tells me he got this directly from Joe Dumars, that the Pelicans are not interested in making a trade. The Pelicans are going to stand pat. So the dream of Trey Murphy, even the idea of settling for Herb Jones, those names here, let me look at that specifically just to confirm what he actually, because Chris Haynes was very specific in this post, and Chris Haynes was on both Threads and Twitter today posting this, and I'll tell you folks exactly what he said. If I could find it, hold on one second. Maybe anyways, I'll get the exact details in just a second. But Armando, what is your reaction to the fact that in one fell swoop, AD's off the table, Pelicans off the table, and look at this son of a bitch right here, man. Look at this guy. Look at that handsome mug. And we've got Chris's brother right here. But Armando, what are your thoughts to that report? And from Chris Haynes, Mark's brother, and Mark, great to see you, brother. Armando, what's your reation to that, though? AD's off the table, Pelicans are off the table, and then we'll do a full intro with Mark. But Armando, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's why we looked at, it does seem like the Jazz is the main avenue here for any kind of move, and they're going to struggle to beat Portland. They're going to struggle to beat the Knicks. Charlotte had their number the last game. They're going to struggle to beat the Heat. The Toronto Raptors owned the Warriors. So this idea that they're going to go 6-1 before January 15th or whatever, they're going to win out. I don't know. I don't know if the Warriors they're going to go 3 draft picks to get, to the Jazz trade, because Lowry's available. He's right there. And, I don't, AD's, there's no faith from the front office in this coach. That's what's going on. And it would take a lot. They would have to beat those teams I just said by like 20, 30 points straight. And in order for them to execute giving up first round draft picks. Because, think about this, chat. Let me just say, I'll leave it over to you guys for a second. Last thing, Chris here, but nice to meet you. But the coach has destroyed the value of their only asset so much that they're going to have to put a unprotected first round pick into a trade in order to get off a distressed asset. It's not even about Kuminga anymore.
It's crazy.
The other teams want the Warriors' gold mine of a draft picks. The Warriors are going to be really, really bad soon. And those are what teams want. They don't want Kuminga. They want the draft pick. They know they're dealing with a desperate team that's going to make a desperate trade for the 3rd year in a row. Any GM that helps the Warriors out deserves to be fired. That's what I'm going to say about that.
And on that note, Mark Haynes joins the program. You can follow Mark Haynes on social media platforms at Mark Haynes NBA. Mark joins us from Chase Center. Mark, how the hell are you doing, brother? Let me do it like that, so at least your name is there. I'll go back and forth with the
Mark. My bad, not Chris. Mark.
No, it's all good. It's all good, man. Hey, it's always fun and a pleasure to be here with you guys, man. And Cy, man, I've been good, man. I've been a little under the weather last few weeks or whatever, but I'm on the good side of it. So.
Did you get that flu that's going around, man? I've heard nasty ass things. You got that?
Yeah. It's been ugly. So, bear with me on my voice tonight, but this is the best I sounded in weeks.
Good. Perfect timing as you join us. And you're joining us from Chase Center. I always give mad kudos to anybody who's married and the spouse says, "Yeah, take off for the night. Go work." At a basketball game. Bravo, brother. You married the right one there. Mark, first things first, as we're on this topic, what did your brother report today? Because I saw And this was a bombshell if you love the Warriors and you follow them, because there were quite a few players on the Pelicans that I imagine the Warriors were targeting. What do you remember what your brother specified in that report?
Yeah, it was what was it? Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, and Derek Queen, the rookie. They're all basically, none of them are going to be traded by the February 5th trade deadline.
Jesus Christ, dude. So we'll talk about the Kings in a little bit as well, because I think they are fascinating. And both of you, not just one, both bet the over on the Kings this year. You both thought they were going to be good, and it's okay. We're all human. Nobody's perfect, but this Kings team is bad, man. I mean, I personally, they're doing so bad. I'm actually rooting for them to turn this thing around, man. I'm sympathizing with Kings fans. I've never found myself in my life doing that. I really do, man. My heart feels for the folks in Sacramento, the state's capital. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the Kuminga thing, there's two clips I want to play pertaining to this, because they're huge, I think. I mean, and I'll let you guys add your opinion on it. The first one was, did you guys see Isaiah Thomas, what he said?
Zeke, when he was talking about, yes.
One of the greatest point guards ever.
Yeah.
He and Armando saw this before I did. You texted me.
Can I say something about the Kings before we move on?
Please. Yeah. We're going to talk about them again, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, we can go back. I just want to explain why I was wrong.
Man.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So to me, Mark, it's because of the Keegan Murray injury. Like when your top wing gets injured before the year even starts, and like you're not, and you're a vet. You're DeMar DeRozan and the other guy they got there, I can't remember his name, but
Zach
LaVine, big contracts. Like you're not like trying to get it in. Like it's not like that. And to be honest, they brought in a new GM to do a rebuild. Like the guys that they brought in were pushed in by the ownership, and they need to get off those guys. Sabonis is on one of the worst contracts in the league. They got to get off that, and the path to do that is to get blue chip talent in the draft. And so I just think once that injury happened, then it's like, okay, this is where the season's going. We're not going to try to compete. I do think it would have been a different story if Keegan Murray had been healthy, for sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like it definitely impacted, the way the season went and how it's going. Because shortly after that, they lost Domantas Sabonis or whatever. Right. He was gone. So they've been, but aside from the injuries, I still think, I think I was just completely wrong. I didn't think they were going to be a good team, but I never thought they would be this bad. So I'm definitely surprised, and like I thought getting 35 would be easy, especially if they were healthy or whatever. I thought getting 35 would be easy, but I think even if healthy, this team, like you said, you made a great point when you brought up about the new GM Scott Perry being in and Monty McNair being out. This is not Scott Perry's team. This is not his vision. Right. So, of course, there's going to be some shaking up. I just find it weird that, this team, especially early on in the season, it seemed like they had expectations, especially when you listen to Doug Christie and how fiery he was at the beginning of the year. We're not accepting this and that. We're going to play this type of basketball. It was almost like they thought, or they believed that they would be good this season. And I remember during media day when Scott Perry was asked, like, what do you think about the roster? And he didn't give an answer. He was like, well, first I want to see what we look like. Like, I don't want to say we're this and that, but I think it, especially with the injury to Keegan Murray, I think very quickly they started looking at all the different flaws, and then that's when, you start seeing things it's just been on a downhill slope, from the jump. And that's hard because it's like you start at zero, and if we're counting, the Kings are somewhere in the negative right now. And it's been that bad.
Worth noting as well that the OU was 34.5, as you mentioned. So 34, look, 35 wins, you're still below 500 by a few games. Right. But yeah, so to be under that, I mean, you're a bad team. Now, the good news is, as you mentioned, like, you got a new GM, relatively speaking, and he may blow this whole thing up. He's likely going to, and we're going to talk about all the possibilities. But the Zeke comment, we got to get to this because important to note as well. This man right next to me, if you're watching this on YouTube, Armando Lara, hosts a podcast called Spreewell Was Right. And on that note, let's listen to Zeke, one of the greatest point guards in the history of this game. I was really surprised at how strong the words were coming out of his mouth, man. I did not expect this. But he called Steve Kerr out, man, for his treatment of Kuminga. And if you haven't seen this yet, this was on FanDuel's a network. I think Michelle Beadle was the host of this. Here is Zeke talking about the Kerr Kuminga situation.
Serious situation that I've seen in a very long time, if ever, where we have a player that the NBA, generally agrees is an above average player, but he doesn't play,
for no reason.
I don't mean
think about it.
You're right.
But we talk about for years, right? And then they give him, money on top of it.
2 years, $49 million to not play.
Yeah, so it's a very strange situation. And I give Kuminga a lot of credit, but not blowing up. And he must have some good vets around him and some good people in his family. Because I know if it was me or any other NBA player, by now we Latrell Sprewell, we choking the cup.
and just in case you're not familiar with that reference, Latrell Sprewell, former Warriors guard, choked PJ Carlesimo during a practice and got suspended for over half a season. That's what he was referencing. It's a crazy scenario. Those were very strong words. Anyone want to take a stab at what they think about it first?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Armando. Go ahead.
Are you sure? I'm going to go off right now. I haven't said shit about Kuminga in weeks. I'm ready.
I want to hear this because first off, your podcast title is amazing. I love it. So I want to hear this.
I'm saying it's like, as a Warriors fan going through the 90s and the 2000s, all those coaches, it is NBA 101. You never, ever choose the weak-ass coach over the talent. Ever. That is NBA 101. What are we doing, man? If Steve Kerr had that back problem and it was just Luke Walton winning all those championships, would you really be choosing Luke Walton over Jonathan Kuminga? Are you kidding me? I'm going to just put it this way. This is an actual fact. We have never, ever seen Jonathan Kuminga played with, let alone practiced, based on what I've read, 3 wings at the same time. We have actually never seen Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler, and Andrew Wiggins before Jimmy, ever played together, ever. And when Jonathan Kuminga does get played, he gets played with Brandon Podziemski as the power forward with 3 guards, and he's flying around the court trying to cover everything. He's being told not only does he need a defensive rebound, he also has to run out on fast break and be a target. And he's also being told, you need to be our 20-point-a-game microwave scorer, but also you shouldn't be looking for your own shot. You need to be passing it. And also go stand in the corner. I'm talking about some of the worst coaching of all time. And Mark, think about if you play ball and you're a coach in the NBA and you're trying to hustle to stay in, there's a lot of young, good coaches out. Doug Christie, the Suns coach, others. You really think they get young talent and they're like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you for months. I'm going to just throw you in the worst possible lineup, take you out and not explain to you why. And I'm not making that up. Kevon Looney, even Mr. Brandon, President Podziemski said the other day, he doesn't know why he's out the games. So I'm not just saying it. And you're telling me that your whole life as a coach in the NBA isn't to actually devote yourself to cultivating this talent, to saying, hey, man, I need to work with you. We got to develop this offense to get you in the right positions to be the right to build you up, man, to invest in you as a person, as a human being, get to know you. Steve Kerr should be trying to be Jonathan Kuminga's best friend for like 5 years. Why is it? He should be at his fucking house, not trashing him in the media. Are you kidding me? What a effing sick, sad joke. And everyone in the Warriors organization is a complete failure, including Steph Curry. They need, what's his name on ESPN was talking about everyone's failed Steph Curry for this situation. Everyone's failed him. No. This is on Steph. Yes, this is on Steph. It is, the buck stops there. It is him. And I really, really think this is probably one of the most toxic situations I've ever seen in my many years of watching NBA basketball. Like some of the work, like literally a player is quiet quitting and saying, I'm not going to play in this game when the veterans are out because you are going to put me in a bad position to fail and trash me in the media after. And then the players getting blamed for that. Think about that for 5 seconds. It's freaking ridiculous. And now they're like, why aren't these other teams trying to? I've been saying this for years. They're literally, it's like a Hollywood actor saying this movie sucks, but you should go see it. Like what in what world do you not fire that person? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Mark, your thought. Take it away, brother.
I was just soaking it in, man. He made some good points, and it's definitely strange, man. It's strange. I was sitting here, even watching this game. Obviously, the Warriors blew the Kings out, but I'm like, it's easy to sit a guy, when you're winning. Like but you guys, what, 21-19 or 21-18 or whatever, whatnot.
Your ball, baby.
It's obviously there's room for improvement, and it's funny, and Malik Monk here in Sacramento, he's in a very similar situation. It's just it's not as ugly as Kuminga's situation. It's nothing public out there from either side, from him or the team, but there's definitely something going on, because tonight Malik played, he played, he got 19 minutes or whatever, but I think he's coming off of 3 DNPs or whatever, and he's getting DNPs in games where the Kings are struggling to score. And it's like, clearly, he's a guy that can give you an offensive push, but you're not going to him at all. He's a guy that keeps getting brought up in trade, conversations, but you're not playing him. You're not, and it's weird. It's almost like a new trend of, if you're trying to trade a guy, if you're interested in trading a guy, you don't play him when, obviously that usually you want to showcase their value, but that's not happening with Kuminga. It's not happening with Malik Monk. And, obviously the Kings are in a much worse situation or whatever. Like, they're struggling to get, like, I'm looking at the upcoming schedule, and I'm like, I don't know when the next win is going to come. It's brutal. They got Houston on Sunday, and so, and they lost. This was their 7th straight loss, so, it's strange. It's unfortunate. I know, obviously, there's been a lot of talk, in the past between the Kings and the Warriors about, potentially swapping or trading for Kuminga. And if you got 2 guys that both teams refuse to play, it seemed like it makes sense to, if you want the other guy, assuming the Warriors even want Malik, if you did, that would be a move. But I don't think, I'm not dialed in like you guys with Kuminga on, and I don't have a pulse on if he will be moved by the trade deadline. But in Sacramento, I wouldn't be surprised if no moves were made by the trade deadline. I don't know if anything's going to be able to get done.
What in the Malik Monk situation, is it a Doug Christie thing? Like, did this all start when Christie took over?
Not necessarily. I would have to say this is a Scott Perry thing. I would have to say that, like I said earlier,
Interesting.
the way that this team was constructed had nothing to do with Scott Perry. So he obviously, you get a new GM, you expect some things, you expect to see some shakeups. And they wasn't able they wasn't able to do much during the off season. And I think, he's just trying to figure out, like, I know Scott Perry's a very defensive.
Who keeps calling
can
me,
you still
man?
hear me?
What's up?
It's actually Jeremiah from my Section 105 pod. He's somewhere in the arena looking for me or whatever. But no, Scott Perry, he wants to build a team that's built on defense. And that's not one of Malik's strong points or whatever. So, the fact that he's not playing, I'm not saying Scott Perry's saying don't play the guy or whatever. So I'm not exactly sure, what's the reasoning behind that.
That's crazy.
But I do understand, from my understanding of just how it looks like, he's on the way out, or they're trying to get him out. But and if I'm him, I would want the same thing. The team is 8-55, but they're obviously not. But they're just that it feels that way.
Like that, yeah.
It feels that way. And so who wouldn't want to be in a better situation? But I think both sides, unlike with the Warriors and Kuminga, I think both sides are handling the situation as best as they can. It's not an ugly situation. You don't see Malik on the bench pouting. You don't see Doug Christie, speaking badly of him in press conferences and things of that nature. So there's definitely something going on, but they're keeping it in house, and kudos to them for that.
My theory on the Malik Monk situation, based off what you said, now that it's a little clearer for me, it's a Scott Perry thing and not necessarily a Doug Christie thing. My guess would be he doesn't want Malik getting hurt, and he wants that assets value to stay high. Unfortunately, something tells me they also can't find anyone who wants him, and it just sucks because I'm guessing if you're a Kings fan, your fondest recent memories of this team was 2023. And Malik Monk was like a pivotal part of that. Like, I mean, Warriors fans remember that dude, man, being virtually unstoppable. And to see him just pushed to the side now, it's wild. It's absolutely wild, dude. I also remember, I'll also never forget Michael Jordan like flicking him in the head in the early part of his career. You remember that when he was with the Charlotte Hornets? And Jordan was the owner, and he went down there, just flicked him right in the head, dude. This kind of thing Jordan did to his kids when they were young. Like, get your focus back, man. What are you doing? So, and we'll talk about the Kings a lot more. We're going to talk about trades a lot more. But I got to play this one last soundbite pertaining to the Kuminga thing, because this fired me up. And when I say fired me up, I mean like just really mind-blowing, like what the hell is going on type bullshit. And Mark will join us in just a second again. He's letting Jeremiah know that he's on with us. Wait, where's the overlay? Okay, there we go. But Steve Kerr made this comment in tonight's pregame show, which I thought, did Jeremiah find you? You all good?
Yeah, I shot him a text message. I don't know where he at, but he'll probably
impressed with your internet connection at Chase. It's you never know what you're gonna get there, man. Some nights it's strong, some nights it's just forget about it.
And I see I got one bar, but it's running.
It's running good. You're clean. Your connection's good. But this Steve Kerr comment, Mark, did you get a chance to watch this? Because this happened during pregame. I don't know if you were.
No, I missed it.
All right, and again, maybe some of you will think nothing of this. To me, this is. I got Zeke emotions from this. Like, I want to choke a bitch out when I heard this. And I don't know if you folks feel the same, but here was Steve Kerr pregame expressing why Kuminga's not on the rotation. It's effing maddening. Here's Kerr.
I'm disappointed for him that things didn't continue to go the way they did the first couple of weeks. At the same time, it was going to be tricky to start JK, Jimmy, Draymond, at the 2, 3, and 4. I mean, I think, anybody can see that's a tough combination just based on a 5-man combination based on shooting. And sometimes Steph can just offset every spacing obstacle in your way. He's that good. But in the modern NBA, I think it's going to be tough to do that. And I think we recognize that. We gave that lineup, several weeks. And eventually, I think the weaknesses of the lineup were exposed. And that's why we went in a different direction.
Dude, what the F, man? What the hell?
You take it away. Because I might get myself in trouble if I let myself.
He said that today?
This was pregame tonight. Yeah, this was pregame
That's
tonight.
Insane. It's a dereliction of duty on every journalist in that room and the fucking ownership that isn't like, hey, you won all those games playing that way with that lineup. And the only thing that changed was that Steph Curry got hurt. And then you went in the media and said Jonathan Kuminga regressed while Steph Curry was hurt. That's the only thing that happened. That's it. And to just allow him to say we tried it and it didn't work. The original sin of this season is that in June, Stephen Kerr was embarrassed by Jonathan Kuminga's performance by Minnesota. And during the contract negotiations in July, he had to promise that he would try to play Jonathan Kuminga with the team's best players for the first time ever, and they would give it a decent pathway. That was reported. And he did that. He had to do that. He didn't want to do it. He didn't want it to work. And the first moment he had, as soon as they started losing games, when Steph Curry was hurt, that's why they started losing games, he went in the media and blamed Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah.
So then Jonathan Kuminga gets hurt because he was doing everything on the court because he is an all-star level talent. I'm telling you, he is. And we've seen it. And he got hurt because he was doing everything from a fatigue injury. I was on this podcast. I predicted after the first 4 games, I said, Jonathan Kuminga is going to have a fatigue injury. And he did. He got knee tendonitis. And then he comes back. And after Kerr is bashing him in the media, he quiet quits. He's not playing for this guy. That's why this thing went bad. It's fucking personal. It ain't about what's not working on the court. I cannot believe the dereliction of duty that I just felt in that clip right there. That is ridiculous.
I was livid, and it was just a lot of weirdness in there. Like he mentioned the 3 as the 2, 3, 4. When he was starting them, they were the 3, 4, 5. So I don't know why he's like it's like revisionist history. I don't get the whole spacing thing. Like he blames spacing as the issue, and then says, well, Steph makes anybody look good out there. You seriously can't have those 3 with Steph and let's say like a shooter, like you can't have those 3 with Steph and Melton. You can't have those 3 with Steph and Moody. You can't have
and Jimmy Butler's on the record on ESPN like 2 months ago saying the only thing that matters this season is integrating Jonathan Kuminga, the best players on the team, for 30 minutes a night. And Jimmy Butler was like, I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. I'm the only one trying to figure it out to work. I'm the coach of this team, is what the insinuation was. And literally they're just letting Kerr say this when Jimmy Butler said that. The only way they're winning anything this year is with Jonathan Kuminga. What a effing sick, sad joke.
Agreed. Mark, you're more of an outsider. You have a totally different perspective on this. What are your thoughts after seeing that clip? Because it's insane.
Yeah, it's been strange to me from day one, how Kerr has kind of spoke of not even just Kuminga, but I remember when, during his rookie year, the reference, to be like the starters versus the young guys or whatever. And it was always a separation between the two. And I've never really heard a coach really do that. So, and he's continuing, and it's progressed. And it's definitely seems targeting, he's targeting Kuminga. I don't, from the outside looking in, most of us, we don't see any reason for Kuminga not to be playing. I don't understand how he's like, and this is one thing to be playing him, 10 to 15 minutes. And then it's one thing to be not playing him at all. Like if at between 10 to 15 minutes, if there is a reason for him not to be playing, people can see that. But when you just go from Kuminga, and I said this before, Kuminga is one of the only players that I can remember of who can get multiple DNPs, and then let's say somebody's hurt in the starting lineup or somebody's out for whatever reason. Now he's the number one option on offense if Steph's gone, obviously. If Steph's not playing, he turns in from being a DNP to the focal point of the offense. So being that you're just that impactful, if your top guys are gone or whatever, that tells me he has to play. But he's not in this. I don't get it, and by the look at the record, I would say that's a big part of why the Warriors are 21-18.
Yeah. No one gets it, Mark. It's one of those things where like you have the cheerleader type Warrior fans, the ones who just root for the team no matter what, and most of them are, they're Kerr apologists, and they'll just roll with whatever Kerr decides, because in their minds, like, dude, he won us 4 championships, bro. It's like, no, he didn't do shit. It was Steph, and then he had Kevin Durant for 2 of those 4, and come on, let's be real. But that's what a lot of people think. They're like, they just roll with Kerr no matter what, which is crazy.
They got some questions for you, Jeremiah, right here. Oh, Brendan Nunez too. I got some more people y'all can pick brain.
This is your buddy Jeremiah. You host the podcast with him. He covers the Kings.
Yeah.
What's his last name again? I'm sorry. Is it
Salmonson?
Salmonson. Thank you. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, come and take a seat. They got a question for you. He gonna take over real quick.
Am I allowed to drink on this pod?
Oh,
you can do whatever the hell you want.
They got drinks on sale.
The beers, huh?
No, I got stuff for you.
I appreciate it.
They got beers in the beat reporter room in the little fridge. They really do, man. It's true. It's a true story. Like, this is one of the many reasons why Raymond Ritter is adored. He provides beer for the beat reporters. So go in that little room. It looks like a closet.
It is.
If you go in there, there's just a little mini fridge.
Saying this on a pod is crazy.
It's very.
and the beer does not have a label on it. That's even the weirder part. Sometimes the beer just comes in a silver can. I don't know where they get the beer from. It's comedy. Jeremiah, how are you doing, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Well, what is your reaction? Because I'm guessing Sac fans want Jonathan Kuminga. Monty Poole came out today and said that the only team that has interest in Jonathan Kuminga for a trade are the Sacramento Kings. What's your take on the madness of Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga as someone who's totally outside of all this?
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty clear that the Warriors don't want him, but they didn't want to give him up for free.
When you say Warriors, do you mean the whole organization or just Kerr?
Well, I don't know. I mean, if it's just Kerr, I guess it's a bold move to not play him at all, right? So, I mean, maybe he's just at that point in his career where he can kind of just do that type of stuff, but I don't know. It seems like if, Kerr or the entire organization, who knows? But I don't know. I mean, you say Kings fans want him.
Yeah.
Maybe the Kings fans want him. I think he would be an exciting new thing for Kings fans. But this team is in such a dire need of a rebuild, like a full-blown rebuild, that I don't know if he really moves the needle for them much. But fresh start for him couldn't hurt, and a new younger piece for the Kings couldn't hurt. So who knows what transpires there.
Let's talk trades. And we could talk about both the Warriors and Kings. Armando, do you think Kuminga is even going to get traded? Because I look, Michael Porter Jr. is the only remaining name out there that seems even remotely plausible, but something tells me the asking price is going to be way too high. I just don't see it happening. I don't. I also, we know how picky Steve Kerr is. Chemistry is such a valuable thing for him. And I don't see him endorsing Michael Porter Jr. either. I don't know who else is out there other than Larry Markkinen, a.k.a. Larry Markkinen. Dude, what are the Warriors going to do?
I really don't think they're going to give up 3 picks because they beat these bottom feeder teams Like, it's just saying, if they do, then this is the worst front office in recent memory. The Kings got it right. The Kings got all their draft picks the next few years. They should not spend any draft picks trying to get off the distressed assets they have. They just need to wait it out till the team gets desperate and just pay those guys. They might have to lose for 2 years, but the worst thing they could do is attach a first-round pick to get off Sabonis, to get off any of those players. The Kings gotta get out from the hole that the owner dug them in the last 2 years. It's going to take time.
Oh, that's crazy. By the way, TLC, I don't know if you're being facetious or not, saying that I'm not going to give player of the game to Podziemski, even though he had the best game based on stats. Let me give you Podziemski's stats. He played 22 minutes, 27 seconds, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. The 2 assists don't fly with me ever. Why should I give him player of the game? Because he had a plus 28 net rating? Net rating individually is a very flawed stat. We already gave the award to DeAnthony Melton. What are the Kings going to do, if anything? Because logically, like, as someone from my perspective who does not cover the Kings nearly as closely as you do, barely at all, but I keep saying you got to blow this whole thing up. Even if you're getting practically nothing back, if you got to lose these trades, shake this thing up, man. Start over. Like, you got to get Levine off your roster, Sabonis off your roster, everybody, man. Schroeder off your roster. I'm forgetting one guy, the guy from the Bulls, DeMar DeRozan. You got to just purge, dude. That's my take on it. What's yours?
You say the guy from the Bulls. Which guy from the Bulls? DeMar DeRozan
and Levine, both.
And Levine. You know, the list goes on. But yeah, I think you're right, but I also think that they're, you know, Scott Perry likes to say that the Kings are going to be opportunistic and prudent in their search for players, and so I don't think they're in any sort of rush. I think they know it's going to take a lot of time. And let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like, as much as I think they'd like to purge, they've got contracts they can't move. Let's be honest. Like, you can't move the Levine deal. You probably can't move the Sabonis deal. Nope. You probably could move DeMar. You probably maybe could move Schroeder. I mean, he's got, guaranteed money, but then a little bit towards the end it's not. So it's, but who knows? I mean, with the climate the way it is right now with the CBA, I could see a world where, and this isn't going to make Kings fans happy, but I could see a world where the Kings really don't make any big moves at the deadline. Exactly. Contrary to what they should do and what they want to do, I could see a world where they don't make a lot of moves because they just have contracts they can't move.
Yep.
I agree.
All right, we'll get Mark back in here. Yeah.
Jeremiah, good to see you, bro. Well, quick, Jeremiah, before you go, real quick. Jeremiah, just introduce yourself to the audience, brother. Like, what do you do? Like, who are you? I'm guessing most of the audience members have no clue who you are. Really quickly, just introduce yourself. We've never even, I know we've crossed paths loosely here and there, but we've enlightened all of us, please.
Yeah. So I write for Sports Radio Service. So I cover the Kings and the Athletics. A little bit of Giants, a little bit of hockey too. But then I do the Section 105 podcast with Mark Haynes. So that's what we're focused on right now. Yeah.
Oh my God. And so the Kings, you guys are telling Kings fans who are just praying for change. Sorry.
Pretty much. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Won't give shit up to get Zach LaVine or DeRozan?
They could. I could see that as a potential.
The Sabonis thing's tricky, dude.
Yeah, it is.
And what about Keegan Murray? Why did you guys give him? Why did the Kings give him a 5-year, $140 million extension or whatever it was, only to see the production that we're getting? Did you support that move? And why are the Kings so stuck on Keegan Murray? Like, why will they not trade him?
Well, I mean, I think he does what they like. You know, he's a defensive first player. He's their best defender. He's a good team defender. And, I think they like what he brings. And let's be honest, Sacramento is a little bit of a smaller market. So when you get players like that, you might not be able to find them other ways. So when you draft them that way, you develop them, even if it's a little bit of an overpay, it's someone you want to keep around.
Why will the Kings not trade Keegan Murray for Jonathan Kuminga? Because I feel like that would be the trade that makes most sense for both sides.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that they value. I think it's just a simple equation where they value Keegan higher than they value Kuminga, and I think the Warriors probably value Kuminga higher than they value Keegan. So
No, they'd make that trade. I think the Warriors would make that trade. I think they would.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
I think it would be a good trade for them because you have a relationship that's fractured. So it's but it's a leverage thing too, right? Because the Kings know the leverage that they have is with the Kuminga situation because it's been a very public thing with Kuminga with the Warriors. So they know that the Warriors are in a tough spot. So it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's just the game of sports.
here's the thing that I don't think Kings fans will like me saying. I don't think the Sacramento Kings have any leverage with anybody. And if they're going to try to outsmart other teams, if they're going to try to make smart moves by holding on to assets, any of that is dumb in the grand scheme of things. You got to shake this shit up, dude. Like you have a downtrodden franchise who has one of the worst records in the NBA, who's going nowhere, and and the idea of holding on to Keegan Murray makes zero sense, man. Like, you got to shake it up, dude. I'm not even saying this because I want Keegan Murray. I'm actually saying this as someone who, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a Kings fan. And Kuminga would at least excite your arena, man. Like, he'd be doing some shit. Keegan Murray sits in a corner and plays defense. I don't get that. I don't get the Keegan Murray thing is what I'm trying to say. I'm done talking. Jeremiah, any final thoughts before we lose you? Nice to meet you again.
No, yeah, good to see you again. Appreciate it. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
All right, brother. Jeremiah, thank you. Jeremiah Salmonson, Mark's partner. Do you have to run too, Mark? Do we have you for a little while?
Yeah, he's actually my ride or whatever. So we carpooled to the arena. So
got you. So we're gonna lose Mark Haynes here in just a second. Any final thoughts then, man? Shit, Armando, do you have any questions for Mark? Anything Kings related before we lose him?
What's it like being at Chase with the media there, Mark? What's the atmosphere, the vibe?
It's funny. It wasn't a lot of mixing and mingling. I do feel like in Sacramento, it's like in Sacramento media, we're always like kind of, we joke a lot. You go into the media lounge, you go hear a lot of laughs. You go hear, everybody's pretty. Everybody has their own relationships, but it's very, it's more friendly in Sacramento. Is that safe to say? That's fair to say. But no, everybody here, it was all business. It was all business, no smiles. I mean, they look like their team was 8-31.
Mark, everything you described is the picture I always try to paint with the Warriors media scene. It's borderline toxic. When you and I have been at games together, like we just huddle, to hide from everyone else. I want to say this though, Mark. I was looking at my phone because that's where my Warriors schedule is. The Warriors are at SAC on April 10th. I'm going to try to come to that game because I didn't realize I had the picture that all NBA media sections are just kind of like everyone just like eyeballing each other. There's like just ego and insecurity reeking. Like you could smell the pheromones coming out of people's skin of just, I don't like you. But apparently in SAC, it's a chiller vibe. So
Sacramento, it's much chiller. It's much chiller.
Right.
Like we have a good time. We have to tone it down at times so we don't get in trouble because it's like a bunch of big kids in one classroom.
I'll try to make it on April 10th, brother, because I've never been to a Kings game since they went to Golden One, and I'm long overdue. But
maybe they'll get a beam.
Before we let you go, tell Jeremiah thank you for letting me hold you hostage for one more minute here.
Yeah.
Like,
Cyrus said, thank you, Jeremiah.
Yeah, sincerest thanks. What's gonna happen? Are the kids what's gonna happen with Sabonis? That to me is the weirdest one with the Kings. Because he makes a lot of money, and I think that's what screws him and the team in terms of trying to trade him. But he is still one of the elite bigs in the NBA. Like what are the Kings going to do there? Yeah,
I think that he's the most trickiest actually, because not only is he's hurt, and he's consistently hurt, and it's been like they can't do anything right now or whatever. They could talk about it. They can, but when you look at the market or whatever, and you say, he's an elite big, I don't know if other teams see him as an elite big because he's he can be he is a liability on defense. But no, he's consistent in what he does. And a team, especially a good team, would have to want exactly what Domantas Sabonis is, because he's not you can't change him into something else. He is who he is. And if he's a perfect fit for, whatever team, which when I think about it, I don't know who I think he's a perfect fit for. And I think that's kind of the problem. And I honestly think, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if nothing happens at the trade deadline, like at all.
That's crazy, man.
And we might be, Kings fans don't want to hear this, but we might have to just wait for contracts to fall off the books.
Yeah.
And that means another ugly season coming up, unless it won't be that ugly if they get a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
And they go get AJ or one of those top guns, Cam Boozer, Peterson. That would be the upside. That would be that little light at the end of the tunnel.
Armando here keeps advocating for the Warriors to just fold this season and tank because of the NBA draft being that deep, where these lottery picks are going to be special. Yeah, they're going to be special. Mark, promote before you go. Everything you have going on, because this is also going to go on your channel. I'll send you the recording as soon as we're done with the show tonight. Promote away, brother. Anything you want to mention, shoot away.
Make sure you guys follow me if y'all want to follow me in this semi-handsome face. But at Mark Haynes NBA on all social media platforms. Make sure you subscribe to the Section 105 Pod. That's the handle, at Section 105 Pod. Subscribe to the Closer Sports, where you can find my Believe in Kings podcast. And just comment away, talk with me, invite me on your show. I might come through. I might could get Cyrus to jump on with y'all. Armando, same thing, man. But I appreciate y'all. Sorry, I gotta run.
No. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for taking time out. And last thing before you leave, there's some chatter today. It's just chatter. I'm not pretending it's serious, but there's chatter of a 3-way trade involving the Warriors, Kings, and Nets, where Brook Lopez goes to the Warriors. I forgot who goes to the Nets, but Kuminga goes to the Kings. Is there any chance of hell of some sort of iteration of that becoming reality, in your opinion, Mark Haynes?
I would say no, but I really, really hope so. I want to see something happen. I do not want to see the same Sacramento Kings team finish this year. I want to see something different. So, and I think the fans deserve it as well.
Agreed. Drive safe, brother. Always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Right, y'all take it easy.
Love you, Mark. That's Mark Haynes. Follow him on social media platforms at Mark Haynes NBA. Armando, any reaction to a brief respite from Warriors talk by talking about our neighbors north on the I-80, the Sacramento Kings?
Yeah. I think it's really good for Warriors fans to get some perspective. Like, the NBA changes very quick, and the Utah Jazz and the Kings getting in the top 4 this year and having a player that's better than Cooper Flagg next year. Like, people say it isn't fun to tank. Do you know what's not going to be fun? You know what's really not going to be fun? Is us not having any shot at all at a title, and also not having picks. That's really what's not fun. That is a legit, look at what happened to Steve. You guys hate on me for saying this stuff.
It's not hate, Armando. I'll tell you what it is. It's the people out there who are like the Uber fans. They're shocked to hear someone call themselves a fan while simultaneously rooting for them to lose. They have zero big picture mentality. Those folks that's where they're coming from. I'm not saying it's right. I'm totally the opposite. I'm a big picture guy. I feel like if you're a realist, the line of thinking is more along the lines of what you're saying. That's what I think.
Literally, Stephen Kerr said this last week. He said, why are you guys getting on my case, Chosen and Harmoniz? Literally,
Harmoniz is getting on your case?
Stephen Kerr said, we can't be like the Clippers. We can't be like the Phoenix Suns. We can't trade all these picks just to get, like, don't be delusional about our chances. The head coach is saying this to you guys, and you're getting on my case. I just been saying it before, but like I was saying it when they were winning 30 games at the end of last year. I was saying this is trash. This is trash. They're not going anywhere. Jimmy Butler's not it. They traded a worse player for a better player, and you know it's a desperation situation. And I'm ready. This is the draft. If you're not in this draft, you're going to be bad for the next 8-10 years. Greg Popovich style. Everybody thinks Greg Popovich was a great coach. They were out of the playoffs. They were trash for 8 years.
Long ass time. Talent is everything, man. The system is cute when you have the talent to execute it. When you don't have the talent, you are the Spurs in 2018. You are when Phil Jackson briefly ran the New York Knicks, and he thought Carmelo Anthony can run the triangle. Yeah, good. Yeah, nice try with that. You need the talent, dude. It always starts with talent. I'm with you. Whereas I will 99 out of 100 times. I'm sure there's an exception, 1 out of 100 where you may want to rethink it, but you do not keep the coach and move on from the talent. That to me is a losing strategy. I mean, not a winning strategy, especially in the NBA, man. Like NFL, like coaching in different sports, it matters. The impact of coaching is totally different depending on the sport. NFL, you have like almost a minute in between each play to strategize and come up with what you're going to do. The plays themselves are intricate, complicated. There's so many moving pieces. Coaching does play a huge part in the NFL. In the NBA, it can, but you can also be a damn good team with a lousy coach if you have the talent. The talent matters so much in the NBA, at least from my perspective, I think.
I mean, the alternative to not tanking, like the some of the chat there wants, is to fire the coach and actually get a coach that will play 3 wings together. And I said this a month ago when people were like, well, who would you play? They have too many guards on the roster. It's like, no, they don't. Play Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga with the 3 best players. Those are the top 5 players and highest paid players. They should be getting 30 minutes a night together, and everybody else should be in orbit of that. The first person off the bench should be Guy Santos. Then it should be Will Richards and TJD as an athlete, and Quentin Post as some spot minutes. And Podziemski should be getting 10 to 15 minutes as a backup point guard, no more. And then bring in Melt. Like, it is really not that hard to play the championship roster that is hiding on this team. A championship roster that would not be getting injured, that would not, they don't play that lineup because of supposed dribbling and spacing, but they've never tried it. It's all theoretical. He's literally never even practiced it. That is on record. They've never practiced together. And to say that it wouldn't work, it's just obvious to everybody that it wouldn't work, like he said in that thing. That is a dereliction of duty.
Agreed.
And to say that you are okay with that, you're okay with playing 3-4 guards and being overmatched every night, that leads to injuries, that leads to someone needs to count how many career nights other teams have against us. How many times does a player have a career night against the Warriors for the last 4 years? I guarantee you, if someone actually added that up, then we would actually see how bad this 3-4 guard lineups are. And why we're missing wide open threes in fourth quarters of clutch games when it matters against good teams. Why is that? We've been doing that for 4 years. And it's all because of the way they play. 3-4 guards. No other team plays even 2 guards anymore. That's how bad this shit is.
Yeah.
And we have wings to play. So fire the coach or tank. 2 options.
Where's that? God damn, I forgot to highlight it. Hamza Kassem in the chat was saying Armando that you're contradicting yourself, but I can't find it. By saying this team is a championship roster and yet you want them to tank, And Hamza Kassem, and correct me if I'm wrong, I hope I'm not incorrectly answering this for you. It's because of the coach that you want them to take. Because with this coach, you can have the greatest roster ever, but he's not going to play the best guys.
Championship roster, playing, coaching. Been saying it for the last 3 years. I said it during the 23-8 run they went on last year. I said that. And that was fool's gold, just like it is this week. Fool's gold. Yep, it is Kerr more on ball leading to injury ball. It's easy to see. Easy to see.
Riz earlier in the show said Kuminga is being traded for sure. Is he? And then Riz followed it up by saying, can the Warriors, who's Ellis? Keon Ellis? The Warriors get Michael Porter Jr. and Keon Ellis. The Nets get Malik Monk, Buddy Hield, Moses Moody, 2 first-round picks. The Kings get Podziemski, Kuminga. Where are those first-round picks coming from? The trade doesn't work if those 2 first-round picks come from the Warriors. I can tell you this with confidence. The Warriors will not give up picks for Michael Porter Jr.
Really?
Like, that is not going to happen.
Really?
Would you agree with that sentiment, Armando?
I don't know. What makes you say that? I have no idea.
Because I don't think the Warriors, because the Warriors have such a dream of having this clean slate in 2027. Like I don't know what the plan is. I don't know if it's just a moment where they're going to blow this whole thing up. But if you're giving up 2 first-round picks for Michael Porter Jr., you're giving up very important assets in the future for a player that in no way, shape, or form guarantees a title. In no way, shape, or form turns you into a team that is suddenly a contender. You get Michael Porter Jr., for all we know, man, he gets hurt a week later. For all we know, he turns back into the version we saw in Denver, because he's not going to get the freedom he has in Brooklyn now if he comes to the Warriors. He's going to come to the Warriors, and he's probably going to experience the same frustration that Kevin Durant experienced when he was with the Warriors. He's going to have a head coach who schemes everything around Stephen Curry. It doesn't matter who you are second fiddle. And Michael Porter Jr. right now seems actually happy playing with the Brooklyn Nets, having the freedom to be the go-to guy. He's putting up big numbers on a bad team. And look, I could be wrong. This is just me totally guessing, but I would not predict the Warriors giving up first rounders for Michael Porter Jr. That's just me. I don't know. Am I making sense, Armando? Or
yeah. I mean, it like I said in the beginning of the show, the Warriors, the front office to be willing to trade first round picks. I think the Warriors have to win by 20, 30 points and go 6-1. Not just 6-1. They got to win by 20, 30 points against these teams. That's what it's going to take to show the front office that they actually have a chance and are worth investing in, because it is loser ball the way they're playing. I think the owner and the front office know this. They ain't trading no picks unless they show them something. That's why Draymond has been out and literally quitting on games, 3 games in a row. So, because they know this ain't winning ball. They're just going to get injured playing this way. They're going out in a body bag, just like I've been saying all year.
I want to play this this clip. And by the way, I'm looking at a tweet right now from this guy AK Sizzle, who writes that Kuminga, Butler, and Draymond played 163 minutes together this season. To combine, their offensive rating was 119.6. Their defensive rating was 108.8. So they had a plus 10.64 net rating. And that's an average. That's not the cumulative. I think it was something like a plus 50 or some number like that. So how does it not work? Like, how does it not work playing those 3 together? When if you look at the net ratings numbers for 5-man lineups for the Warriors over the season, the best ones are the ones from that first week when you had Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green playing together. My theory, hypothesis, whatever you want to call it, my guess is this. This is Kerr's last year. He's going out doing whatever the hell he wants. It's an ego thing. It's a pride thing. I do think part of it is personal from Kuminga coming out publicly a few years ago. Kerr has never experienced anything like that. It's like a president who's been sheltered for 3 years never getting bad news, or 4 years, and then they go into a debate and the other candidates like suddenly lobbing all this shit at them, and you see them all flustered and they don't even know how to react. That's the impression I got when Kerr was challenged for the first time in his life as head coach of the Warriors, when Kuminga publicly told Shams Charania, I want out. This is bullshit. What are we doing here? That's the gist I'm getting. I could be totally wrong on all this. And again, Kuminga's playing it totally right, saying all the right things. But anyways, do you want to do the schedule thing now? Is now a good time for that?
Yeah, let's do it, man. I gotta get some food soon. It's late.
Yeah. Okay. We'll start wrapping it up here. Armando and I talked about doing this exercise. We're going to look at the schedule, and we're going to take an optimistic approach. We'll even play some music during this segment here as we start to wrap it up. And again, the Warriors' next opponent is Sunday, hosting the Hawks. We'll preview that to finish up the show. Those will be the final two things we do. So here's the tunes. How long have we been on the air? It's already hour 45. Okay, I see what you're saying, Armando. We got to go. All right, here's our exercise. Time flies on this show. It's hard to get a grip of the length. All right, so the Warriors currently 21-18 after tonight's win over the Sacramento Kings. I will keep a mental note of the record as we go through these. And again, we're going to be optimistic. So, for example, with games like Sundays against the Hawks, we'll give the Warriors a dub. We'll give them a W as a prediction. We're going to predict the outcome of the season by going through all the games. So, Armando, Sunday hosting the Hawks. W?
Win.
1-0. What about Tuesday hosting the Trailblazers?
Loss.
All right. What about the Knicks Thursday?
I'll give them a win there.
Okay. All right. 2-1. Hornets win. What about Miami on Monday, January 19th?
Loss.
Okay. All right. They lost at Miami earlier this season. 1, 2, 3. So what about the final game of the homestand when the Warriors host the Toronto Raptors?
Loss.
All right. We'll say a win at Dallas because Dallas is an awful team. Fair?
Yep.
They play at Minnesota twice.
Loss.
Yeah, I agree. We'll say a win at Utah. A loss at home against Detroit. Philly's a really good team. I'm going to go loss there. Would you agree with that?
Sure, yeah.
What do you think? I said I was going to be optimistic, and that's not really optimistic.
Yeah,
so
we already looked. Me and my cousins looked at the schedule. They're going 2-8 in February. So if they go 6-1 in January in this homestand, it's going right back to 500 ball in February. The February schedule is ridiculous.
So at Phoenix, a loss, right?
Yep.
At the Lakers, a loss.
Yep.
Memphis, we'll call that a win. That's optimistic.
Okay.
Spurs loss. Celtics loss. Jesus Christ, you're right. February's rough. Nuggets loss. At New Orleans, win. At Memphis, being positive here, optimistic, win. Lakers loss. Clippers at home. What did you and your cousins decide on with that one?
I mean, you know how we think. It's a tough game. They all add up. So
I'll give them a win. I'll be optimistic and give them a win. All right. They beat the Clippers at home. At Houston, oh my God. At Houston loss. At OKC loss. At Utah win. Home against Chicago, optimistic win. Minnesota loss. What about at New York? You gave the Warriors a win hosting the Knicks. What about when they're in Madison?
I'll give them a win. I'll give them a win in the Garden.
Oh wow!
Steph
Okay,
Curry,
all right. So okay,
Steph Curry 60-point game. You know what it is.
Yeah. Did they win that game? I know the 50-point game they lost some years back. Okay, at Washington win. Boston loss. Detroit loss.
Man,
what about at Atlanta?
I guess. Wait, does Atlanta have their pick? Are they tanking?
No, they're not tanking.
They're not. They don't have their. Yeah, maybe that's gonna be a tough game.
They have the New Orleans Pelicans pick.
Right.
So
Is it?
No, they're not tanking.
Or something? Yeah, I don't remember.
They're not tanking. But we'll give them a win. F it. I'm being positive. Win. What the hell? Dallas win. The Mavericks are just a junk team. Brooklyn win. Washington win. Denver loss. Spurs loss. Cleveland, they're starting to look better. What do you think? Win or loss there at home?
I would say win because
Okay.
it's the East, and they probably won't be hustling that hard at the end of the season.
Okay. Houston loss. Sacramento win. Lakers loss.
Win.
Sacramento win. At
LA
Clippers
loss. Just
loss.
like they
Yeah,
did
I
last
agree with that. So I counted 20 more wins, which would give the Warriors a record of 41-41 to finish the season.
500, just like I said.
Damn, that's not good. That is not good. If that's how the season ends, I guess if there's a bright side to all this, if you really want some karmic justice for Steve Kerr, his legacy is going to be tarnished by the end of this.
Nah, he's gonna. No, it's not. He's already building in his narrative that they're getting old and they gotta enjoy the process, and that's life. He's already building. He's already provided the media with his narrative. He's fine. Steve Kerr's a main man, and you know, so if they lose in the play-in, you know, or if they might make the first round, but then they'll get injured in the first round. Horford's gonna have a heart attack, and you know, I don't know. You know, it's like he's just gonna be out. Like, oh, injuries happen. You know, you get old. It's all good. You know, I'm gonna talk to my uncle who doesn't watch any Warriors games. He's just gonna say, well, you know, they get old. What a effing joke.
Well, if we're gonna keep the prediction thing going, this is if you're watching this on YouTube, we have the standings displayed right now, and the Warriors are the 8th seed. There are 3 losses behind the Suns for the 7th seed, and 5 losses back of the Rockets, Lakers, and T-Wolves and Nuggets. Oh wow, those teams are in a 4-way tie essentially for the 3 seed, at least based on losses. The Lakers and Rockets have played a couple games less than the Nuggets and T-Wolves, but loss-wise, the Warriors, again, 5 games back of those 4 teams for 3 through 6.
Who's going out? Who are the Clippers taking? You know, who are the Clippers coming for?
Grizzlies.
Yeah.
So the Clippers right now are 14-23. They're just 1 game back in the loss column of the Memphis Grizzlies. And look, Memphis has some upside, but I don't see them making noise this year. I just doubt it. I don't think there's enough. I just don't see enough there for them.
I think the Warriors are really lucking out that it sounds like Ja Morant's on the trade block, which tells me they're kind of quitting on the season. You know,
sort of. But they're better without him, which is why it's not necessarily quitting. It's like you look at all the numbers and like across the board, wins, losses, everything. They are a better team when Ja Morant is not playing, which is really crazy. I think he's done. But then you also saw how little the Hawks got for Trae Young, and I don't. What are you going to get for Ja Morant? Gee, I can't believe the Kings are that screwed. By the way, that they have this garbage roster, the worst owner in basketball. And congrats, fans! You get to watch this team for the whole year.
They should trade him for Kuminga. That's what they should do.
How is Keegan Murray untouchable? That's one of the most batshit crazy things. They gave that guy a max extension when they could have easily played the same game with him they played with Kuminga. I don't get that. Like they have the worst owner. Vivek is to me the worst owner in basketball, and that is saying something. Yeah. But the Clippers right now are a game back of the Grizzlies in the loss column for the 10 seed. This is let's finish this exercise with the postseason, shall we? We'll include a play-in prognostication. If the season ended today, let's say the Clippers slide into 10 over the Grizzlies, what you would see in the play-in tournament is you would have the Suns host the Golden State Warriors for the 7th seed. How do you think that would play out?
I think the Warriors would win that game, right?
In Phoenix?
Yeah.
Okay, so then if that happened, the Warriors would be the 7th seed, and this is crazy. So there is a scenario, if what you're saying is true, if they do somehow win that first game against Phoenix, if that's what this turns out to, they would have a first-round matchup against the team they match up with best in the postseason, and that is the San Antonio Spurs.
Yep.
So they could have just an identical finish to last year. And then that plays into what you're saying. Kerr going out with like a,
maybe so. I don't know if the Spurs are going to stay at 2.
Where do you think they go?
I just don't. I'm not a fan of Wemby's longevity. Like that shoe has yet to drop. So we'll see where it all shakes out. They're only 2. The Nuggets are only 2 games back.
Is Shardal? Shardal's in our chat. Shardal, I just saw your email. We'll get you on Sunday, all right, buddy? We're running up against the clock.
I
apologize. Shardal's our usual closer. I just got notice that he was available tonight. Originally, I didn't think you were available. Shardal, love you. You are our closer. I'll even play the open for you, even though we're not going to have you tonight, just to give you and the channel some love. Stay at home, son. Yeah, go subscribe to Shardal's channel. And Shardal, hope you're having a good Friday night. We'll bring you back on Sunday, all right? Love you, dude. Going back to this exercise, though, did I cut you off? Were you saying something, Armando? I apologize.
I just said it's late. I got to eat dinner, so.
Okay. So we're done. So that's the exercise. And then the Warriors will play the Hawks Sunday. I don't know what the line is for that, but looking at the depth chart, it's look, you're playing a team that's going to be starting Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I don't know if Zachary Rishishaw is going to be available. Jalen Johnson, who's having a breakout year, probably going to be an all-star. And then you got a Kongwu as your starting center. Luke Kennard comes off the bench for him. Vidi Krejci comes off the bench for him. They might have CJ McCollum available. Any other players of note? Corey Kispert, I think, is dealing with an injury. They also got him. I forgot about that. No. Corey Kispert might play. So that'll be the team. Any predictions, Armando?
No predictions.
Go eat, man. Go eat. I love you, brother. Any final thoughts?
That's it, man. Have fun. I had fun, chat. See you guys next week when the Warriors will be past the 15th. Yeah, next week.
16th. And what's happening a week from now? No game. We'll have a regular show.
Right on. My favorites. All right,
guys. All right, brother. I love you. I'll see you next week, man.
Yep.
Beautiful. That is the professor. That is Armando Lara. He joins me every Friday. Let's do a quick scoreboard check, and then we'll take off. That'll be another show. Thanks again to Mark Haynes. Thanks to Armando Lara. And really quickly, across the association on a Friday, January 9th, your scoreboard check that the Boston Celtics at home defeated the Toronto Raptors tonight, 125-117. Peyton Pritchard, 27 points, 8 assists in the win. Emmanuel Quickley, 17 points, 13 assists in the loss for the Raptors. The Philadelphia 76ers, 103-91 winners tonight at Orlando. Tyrese Maxey, 29 points, 3 steals in the win. Desmond Bane, 23 points in the loss. The Magic dropped to 21-18. Philly improves to 21-15. The Celtics, meanwhile, improved to 24-13 tonight. The Raptors dropped to 23-16. A lot of very similar records from those Eastern Conference teams. The New Orleans Pelicans, 128-107 winners tonight over the Washington Wizards in Washington. Trey Murphy, 35 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists in the win. Champagny, 12 points, 9 rebounds in the loss for the Wizards, who dropped to 10-27 after losing this one in the nation's capital. The Pelicans improving to 9-31. They jump ahead of the Sacramento Kings and are no longer the basement dwellers of the Western Conference. The LA Clippers, 121-105 winners tonight over the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. James Harden, 31 points, 6 assists in the win. Michael Porter Jr., 18 points, 6 assists, 4 steals in the loss for the Brooklyn Nets. The Clippers improving to 14-23. The Nets dropped to 11-24. The OKC Thunder barely pulling out a win tonight in Memphis. 117-116 winners tonight. Jalen Williams, 26 points, 10 assists in the win. Jaren Jackson Jr., 23 points, 7 rebounds in the loss. The Thunder improved to 32-7. The Grizzlies dropped to 16-22. The Warriors' next opponent, the Atlanta Hawks. Because Jokic is not playing. I was shocked there for a second before remembering that Nikola Jokic is out until his expected return date is the end of this month. The Hawks 110-87 winners in Denver tonight. Jalen Johnson, 29 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists in the win. Peyton Watson, who's starting to put up some big numbers with Jokic out, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 3 steals in the loss. The Hawks improved to 19-21. The Nuggets dropped to 25-13. Atlanta, again, in town on Sunday. A final in Phoenix. The Suns, 112-107 winners tonight over a New York Knicks team that's going to be in town next week to take on the Warriors at Chase Center. Devin Booker, 31 points, 8 assists in the win for the Suns. Jalen Brunson, 27 points in the loss. The Suns are proven to 23-15. The Knicks dropped to 24-14. 2 more games of the Portland Trailblazers. Also going to be a win 11-5. A little bit. Tamani Kamara, 25 points in the win at Portland. The Trailblazers improving to 19-20. Kevin Durant with 30 points and 12 rebounds in the loss for the Rockets, who dropped to 22-13. And last, and maybe least, the Milwaukee Bucks were at Crypto tonight, and they beat the LA Lakers 105-101. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 21 points, 6 rebounds in the win. LeBron James, 26 points, 9 rebounds, 10 assists in the loss. That is your scoreboard, and that is your show. Appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. What's going on here? Sure. I love you, man. We'll bring you back on Sunday. I got to get out of here, too. We're at the 2-hour mark. That's a long show. Thank you, everybody. One more time, thanks to Mark Haynes. Again, follow him on social media at Mark Haynes NBA. Appreciate the I80 crossover hit. And, of course, every Friday, it's happy hour. Thank you to the professor, Armando Lara. Follow him on threads at Mando_man10. And also, he hosts a delightful program called Spreewell Was Right. Are we done? I think we're done. I think. I can't resist this. Steve Kerr for those pregame comments tonight.
Fuck you.
Maybe I could be a little nicer about that. I'm sorry. Steve Kerr, following your pregame comments tonight.
Oh, hey. Fuck you.
Yeah, a little more polite. There we go. Asinine. I did like that exercise, though, that we did, where we kind of looked ahead. Crazy year. And it continues. We're back at this Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. Warriors-Hawks. Should be a lot more interesting than tonight's blowout 137-103 victory by your Golden State Warriors over a hapless Sacramento Kings team. Thanks, everybody. Back at this soon. Bye-bye.